Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show.
Rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airwaves and strap in as we
defend the Constitution, because freedom matters.
We are broadcasting live from the Kata Studio, so welcome to the Ho-Ho Show. And as always, I am your host, Ho-Ho. So how y'all doing? Hope you guys are doing good. I really do. And happy Labor Day, by the way. Oh, yeah. Now, guys, I got to be honest with you. I like having the day off. I like having the time off. I definitely do. You know, the paid vacation day. But it's what the day represents that I'm not a big fan of. You know, and that's the power of the labor union to just randomly get a day off because they want to have one. You know, I'm not a fan of labor unions. I'm really not, you know. And truth be told, well, okay, they've never done anything for me. They really haven't, okay? My own personal experience is, you know, I don't like it, you know. I worked a job. I was doing, you know, at a factory that made landing gear for semis. I was in the gearbox hole, and something happened. They extended my they extended my probationary period by 2 months. Instead of, you know, 30 days, they extended it to 90 days. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, it wasn't my fault what happened, but I got blamed for it. And, you know, whatever. I didn't even care about that. It didn't bother me. But what ticked me off was that the labor union, the company, the whatever, they had the power to still charge me union dues after my 30 days. It's like, wait a second. How is this legal? You were going to force me to pay for a service that I'm not getting. And they were like, yeah. Needless to say, I was hot. I was not very happy about that. It's like, dude, this is illegal. This is wrong. In no other place in America can you actually do that. You know, but in all honesty, it's an aspect of, you know, if what the labor unions are offering is so awesome, then why is it in right to work states, you have a lot of people that are getting out of the unions? Now, you would think that if the unions are so amazing and what they have to offer is so great, then they would welcome the side-by-side, apples-to-apples comparison, but the fact of the matter isn't. They use intimidation in order to keep people in there, in order to vote their way. And, you know, once you get into the union, how hard is it to get back out of the union at whatever company you're in? I don't get that either. You know, it's pretty stinking hard. You know, and as a Republican, you know, it's like your money is going to the unions, and they give that money to, you know, Democrat action committees and the like. It's like, dude, why am I paying for, you know, a political campaign just to keep the unions in power? Why isn't that money actually coming back to me and benefiting me? I don't like that. You know, I just don't. And to be honest with you, the worst possible thing that could have happened when you're talking about labor unions. The worst possible thing that could have happened. They got everything they wanted. They got everything that they was needing. You know, they got the better working conditions. They got the better wages. They got the breaks. They got the insurance. They got this, that, and the other, paid holiday, paid vacation. They got everything that they were wanting. So I will rest on the aspect that, yeah, there was a time that unions were very useful and necessary. But that was before. Now they've changed to where the unions really don't do anything but benefit themselves. Like taking money from somebody who isn't actually getting represented, any representation whatsoever, and they're calling that okay, when that's illegal. Anywhere else in this country, forcing somebody to pay for a service that they're not receiving is illegal. But for some reason, with this, is perfectly okay. Now, there's, we really do have, some stuff to talk about, guys. I mean, this really shouldn't be all that long of a show, but, should we take a quick break just to kind of give you guys an opportunity to woosah a little bit before we get into the next topic? Because the next topic, it might, it's one of those controversial things. And I don't care. I don't mind attacking controversial things. I really don't. And in all honesty, we might be tackling more than one controversial thing. Controversial. Whew, I'm having a hard time talking already, and this is early. Holy crap. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a quick one. A quick break, just to give you a little bit of time to just, get used to the idea that we're about ready to talk about something. Be right back.
You are correct. You are correct.
Do you work at any of the myriad of jobs where you might have to sit on your bum all day? Well, if so, maybe you know what it's like to suffer from the condition known as swamp ass. Well, if so, have I got the solution for you.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
That's right.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
You can use it indoors, outdoors, work or play, or on any occasion when you sit on your bum all day. Don't let your buns get red. Use anti-monkey butt powder instead. Available wherever anti-friction powder is sold. Oh yeah, so welcome back. So guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the abortion debate. Okay, we're going to talk about that. The pro-life law that has been passed in Texas. Some of the pushback that they've been getting from lawmakers and the like. And we're going to talk about how the left really doesn't believe what the left say that they believe. And we're going to talk about a little on just how outdated this thing really is. Now, Roe versus Wade is where this whole entire thing started. Okay? This wasn't law. This was case precedent. And to be honest with you, there is nowhere in the Constitution where this is, technically speaking, the way it's supposed to happen. Because judges do not have the constitutional authority to, in essence, make law. Okay? But at least in some way, shape, or form, I understand why they did it. Okay? Because their limited understanding on science, human development inside the womb, and that's more or less what it came down to. They didn't understand how human development really worked. And they never intended this to become something that, well, in all honesty, was used as a contraceptive instead of, purposes for saving a life. I'm okay with the aspect of, wanting or needing an abortion due to, some type of a medical condition where, both can't live. And that type of an aspect, I'm okay with that. Okay. That's at least something that I can at least stand behind. And I would be at least somewhat okay with it. Not that I would agree that killing one over, killing another is necessarily a right thing to do. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I get that choice. That can't be an easy choice. I get that choice. But that's not really what's going on, because in more times than not, it's not for medical reasons. It's not due to even, rape or incest or anything like that. Most of the time, and you can look at the statistics yourself, most of the time it's just because the person doesn't want to be pregnant anymore, doesn't want to raise the child by themselves, or trying to get back at somebody, or whatever the case may be. Like I'd said before, it's used as an alternative to contraceptives. That don't want to wear a condom, that's all right. Abortions are cheap. And I have an issue where you have a child. Now this is sad, but true. Your daughter can go and have an abortion. And in some places, without you even being present, knowing about it or anything. But at the same time, they can't go and watch a movie about how an abortion is being done, because that would be rated R. They can't go into that movie unless they can, verify their age and they're of age. But if they're not of age, then they can't go in and watch that movie, because like I said, it would be rated R. Isn't it kind of sad that you can have a procedure, but you can't actually, without your parents' permission, without your parents' knowledge, without your parents signing off on the procedure, even though they are under the age of majority, they are not adults. And anytime you have any, you can't get a tattoo unless you have your parents present. But gee golly, you can have an abortion without one. A double standard type of a thing, if you ask me. And that's not even talking about, the Margaret Sanger aspect of it, and the fact that she did this as a population control for the people whom she considered to be undesirables. Her words, not mine. That's why most Planned Parenthoods are actually in the inner cities. Just saying. But I'm not even talking about that aspect of it. I'm just talking about the health side of it. I'm talking about the not wanting to use the condom aspect of it. And we're talking about it's not generally for life-saving purposes. It's not. Look up the numbers yourself. If you don't believe me, that's fine. I don't care. But before you argue with me, before you tell me I'm wrong, why don't you look it up first? I have. But here's where my argument goes. It's murder, plain and simple, whatever. But you have the left that want to say that the Constitution is a living, breathing document, yada, yada, blah, blah. And in a matter of speaking, it is, but in a matter of speaking, it isn't. Because as long as you agree with, or you can get 3/5 of the states and however many senators, and, you can do a constitutional amendment. You can add it. You can put something in there. You can write a law. You can do whatever. It's kind of breathing, but at the same time, it's kind of not. And then you have, they're okay with having this, but, this Roe versus Wade is set in stone. You can alter the Constitution. You can negate the Constitution. You can bypass the Constitution. You can do all these things, but cases like Roe versus Wade is set in stone. That's where their argument is. It doesn't have anything to do with the abortion argument. It's the fact that they're, in a matter of speaking, losing power and they don't like it. This headline from CBS News. Anti-abortion, let me get into it. I apologize. Anti-abortion groups are fired up over the Texas ruling. They're just getting started. And this thing is basically talking how, this is a step in the right direction for people whom are pro-life, and of which case I agree. This is it's an outdated ruling. It was a ruling that was based off of ignorance. And, here's the thing. And I'm even going to put it like this. Yes, I do believe that it is murder. Yes, I do believe that. But either way you look at it, this isn't something that should have been put to the federal government to decide. This is something that should be based off of the states, the 10th Amendment. It's in there. Okay? That's where you should be having this argument. And of which case I have no problem with Texas going, no, we're not going to do that. But is what it is, and this is what's actually kind of what I find hilarious to me. Because all Texas is doing, and this is an argument that I have made in the past whenever it comes to, abortion and pro-life, pro-choice, whatever. But this is an argument that I made. So what this ruling says is it is illegal to have an abortion after the time where you can distinguish a baby's heartbeat. Wait a second. Isn't that one of the ways by which they determine whether somebody is dead? Your heart stops, you can no longer feel a pulse, and that is one of the ways how they distinguish and determine whether somebody is either alive or dead. Why, yes, actually it is. Okay. So why is it that a unit of measure that you use to determine death isn't a unit of measure you use to determine life? Why not? So I have no issue with this type of a law. And in all honesty, this is an argument, like I said, that I've made in the past. Once that heartbeat is distinguishable, which about 6 weeks, that's what they say, as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. I can speak, really, I can. But that's what the article says right here in this section. Let me go ahead and pull it up for you again. Right there, right next to Clint Eastwood. That paragraph, late Wednesday, whenever, it's in there. So like I said, that's an argument that I myself have made in the past, and I am perfectly fine with that type of a ruling, But it was a judgment with abortion that, again, was based off of ignorance. They didn't know, and now that they do know, it should be at least put back up for debate. Shouldn't it? I mean, in anywhere else in life, in debate, in politics, in science, once you have new information that comes forward, you rethink and you reevaluate different things that you have ruled on before. That's how we've kind of been able to come as far as we've gotten, is because we acknowledge in different points in our history that maybe we didn't know as much as we thought we did. Maybe we need to reevaluate this. Holy crap, we were wrong back then. What's wrong with that? I seen this article from Politico. Texas abortion law could still be destroyed by the Supreme Court. But what's interesting on this one is the Supreme Court had actually already even talked about this, and they were like, they upheld it. They were like, it's the state of California or the state of Texas. They can do that, Looking for another one. Yeah. That's this article. This article right here, and this one's from The Hill. Oh, wow, that was the wrong button. Supreme Court ruling on Texas abortion law rattles lawmakers. You want to know why that ruling rattled lawmakers? Because most of these lawmakers were Democrats, and they really don't like it whenever they don't get their way. They really don't like it whenever they lose ground. And that's more or less what they look at it as. They're losing ground. They don't like it. Too many people kind of taking note of what's going on. They're seeing, the wrong in this. I mean, it's only taken us how long, since this has even been a debate and been an argument? Since the science actually stepped in and was like, this is how human development works. Why don't we kind of rethink this? And ever since then, it's been a fight back and forth. And finally, pro-lifers are getting a little bit of a foothold, and the lawmakers, the Democrats, really don't like it. And I've seen this article. Oh, you guys are going to love this one. This one's from Axios. Headline. Okay, cool. Headline, Amy Klobuchar, Senate should eliminate the filibuster to protect abortion rights. Isn't this, again, just how the left operates? And specifically with the filibuster. When they are in power, the last thing they want is a filibuster rule. That's the last thing they want. When they are not in power, the biggest thing that they want is a filibuster rule. Why is that? Because either way you look at it, the Democrats want to have some inkling of power and authority. They want to be able to throw a wrench into the works, but they hate it whenever the monkey wrench gets thrown into them. And what really agitates me more than anything else in talking about that is the fact that instead of Republicans, conservatives, and the like, those that are on the right side, they don't fight near as well as the Democrats do. They don't fight like that. The Republicans may be in the majority, but it's the Democrats that usually still hold all the power. Why? Because you have too many Republicans out there that are wolves in sheep's clothing. Those that truly are Democrats, and they're just flying the R next to their name in order to get elected. And that's all it amounts to. We call them Rhino Republicans. Others calls them Romney Republicans. Whatever the case may be, it's a Democrat. And one of the first things that we need to do as conservatives, as people on the right, is force a change. Don't allow the RNC to allow these people to be part of the party. Because if they're not, they need to be booted out. Let them run as an independent if they want to be an independent, but we have to hold something sacred in our party. What do we stand for? And if you don't stand for that, then you need to go. You need to be done, because we're not going to support you if you're not going to support us and our constituents. I mean, it's that simple. And what's hard about that? I mean, truly, what's hard about that? I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. Why don't we take a stand as Republicans, as conservatives, and fight for our party back? I've said this before, I say it again. I had a conversation with a JFK Democrat, and he was like, this isn't necessarily the party that I signed up with, that I signed up for. This isn't them, and I go, well, to be honest with you, you're the majority of your party. The majority of the party isn't as radical as AOC, Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar. Most of them aren't like that. Most of you guys aren't, but the problem is you don't pay enough attention, and you're not loud enough and vocal enough in order to get these people out of the way so true Democrats can actually get in there and get some work done that benefits the people. I told him, we have the exact same problem as a Republican, as a conservative. We have that. Why? Because our party has been taken over by people that just fly the R next to their name to get elected, because in truth, they're Democrats or they are just extremists that are just in there to mess up the works. It's like we've been dealing with that for a long time. We have no need for a third or a fourth or a fifth party because, I mean, and this is the thing, guys, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be truthful with you on this. Trying to make a third party, in all honesty, is stupid. It is. It's stupid. Because what you don't realize, what you don't understand, what you don't take into consideration is these two parties are the ones who hold all the cards. They do. They hold all the cards. They're the ones who are in charge of, different debates, who's going to get put on what ballot and all this other kind of stuff, because it's all done by these two publicly owned companies. Well, I don't know if they're publicly owned companies or privately owned companies, whatever. But either way, look at it, it's not a part of the government. These are not government institutions. They're private ones. They're the ones that hold all the cards. They're the ones who say what's going to happen and how. So what you need to do, instead of trying to compete with that, get a grassroots rally going and take your party back, because that's the only thing that really we can do that's going to have any lasting effect whatsoever. Take your party back. Any lasting, whatever. You know what I mean? It's the best way to do it, because if you have enough people that can separate from the Republican Party or the Democrat Party and actually make a difference, then you have enough people to support you to take back whatever party that should be the ones whom you actually feel represent you. Whether that be a JFK Democrat, or whether it be a Reagan Republican or a Trump Republican. Either way, that's what you need to do. Take your party back. I don't know how exactly we got here from abortion, but whatever. Hey, it happens like that. It does. It happens like that sometimes. All right, guys, we are going to move on. We are going to talk about let's see, what are we talking about? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the Taliban, Afghanistan. We're going to talk a little bit about the people that are trying to come home. And we will do that right after this break. Don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Have you ever sat down on your throne just to find out that you are dangerously low on shift tickets, making it to where you have to make a mad dash to the store just to pick yourself up some? If this has ever happened to you, pick up the #1 most rated toilet paper found in Uranus and use what the professionals use. Angel Soft. See, I'm just not a fan of some toilet paper. Some of them it's like putting a pillow between your nice rosy. Others, like John Wayne toilet paper, it's like using sandpaper. But do what the professionals use. Use the type of toilet paper that is the Goldilocks of brands, Angel Soft. Available wherever toilet paper is sold. All right, welcome back to the Ho Ho Show. And hello, Dave, over there in Facebook land. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, guys, so we are moving on. And we're going to talk about what's going on in Afghanistan. The Taliban. We're talking about the stranded American U.S. citizens that have been over there, and the struggle that's actually going on, not just with the people of Afghanistan, but with, well, something else. And we'll get into that. But first, we're going to start off with this article from Politico. Around 100 Americans left in Afghanistan, says Klain. Now, guys, I got to be honest with you. With some of the information that I have been receiving and hearing, there's way more than just 100 Americans that have been left in Afghanistan. And I've also been hearing that, you know, we haven't pulled out yet. We're still trying to get people out. We're still trying to do that. And that's a good thing. You know, there has been enough public backlash over Americans being left behind, and with everything else that's been going on, they're finally going, okay, fine, we'll get this done. You know, whatever. Okay. So that's a good thing. That's a good aspect of it, you know, and one of the heartbreaking things that I had heard. All right, let me find that article because I've already lost that one. Holy crap. Nope, where did that one go? Oh yeah, here it is. This is from Daily Mail. I hate it whenever I lose an article like that. So this one's from Daily Mail. Taliban militants execute 8-month pregnant police officer in front of her husband and children in her own home. This is the kind of stuff that they're doing. People that have been, you know, pro-America, people that have been, you know, helping Americans out. The Taliban are going door to door, hunting people down and killing them. This isn't the first such article that I've heard about. It's heartbreaking. You know, it really is. And I had heard something not that long. Oh yeah. Let me move on to this one first before I get into that. Nope, that ain't it. There we go. This article from CBS News. Put these things in the wrong order. Multiple planes are ready to take U.S. citizens and green card holders out of Afghanistan, but the Taliban won't let them leave. That is from, again, CBS News. And it begs the question of what actually is going on over there. You know, because I had heard that as of the 3rd, I think it is, that they were supposed to have a working government going on, but that hasn't happened yet. And the reason that hasn't happened yet is because there's too much infighting going on that they haven't been able to establish anything. This article, which one should I start off with first? This one or this one? Because both of these articles, in all honesty, oh yeah, that one's a good one, not that one. Okay. Where did that article go? No, that one's not it. That one's not it. Just did that one. That's not it. Oh yeah, that one. Okay. So this article or this article, which one should I start off with? Let's just do this one. Okay. So this article from Axios. Joint Chiefs say that a civil war in Afghanistan is likely. Well, of course it's likely because, again, this is a tribal country, tribal people, and they can't determine who should actually be in control of this thing. That's what it amounts to. I seen this article from 1945 that the Taliban is in crisis. Why ISI chief Faiz Hamid rushed to Kabul And that ISI stands for it's the Pakistan's Inter-Service Intelligence Agency, ISI, Inter-Service Intelligence. Got to be honest with you, before this article, I'd never heard of them before. But that's what he's saying, is that this was supposed to be done by September 3rd, but yet nobody has been named as the head of them because they're still in turmoil. They can't decide who's going to be ruling them, how they're going to be doing it. They can't decide that. And to be honest with you, I mean, with the exception of a handful of articles out there, you know, as far as mainstream media goes, there's really still not a lot being talked about it. And that's a shame. You know, that really is, you know. And I've seen this headline from Insider. Representative Jim Jordan becomes the latest GOP lawmaker to call for Biden's resignation over the Afghanistan withdrawal. Because, guys, remember, that they're blaming this entire thing on Trump. You know, even after saying the buck stops here, he's blaming the entire thing on President Trump. They're saying that even he didn't follow through with the stuff that was going on with, you know, the pullout and everything else. And look, guys, I mean, we should have pulled out a long time ago. We really should have, you know. We had no business being over there, let alone for 20 freaking years. You know, these are people that just don't want to have anything to do with the American lifestyle. They don't want it. They just don't. There's nothing you can do to change them until they are ready to have their own revolutionary war, their own civil war, their own constitution, what have you. Until the people are ready to do that, there's really nothing you can do to help them out. It's like, I'm sorry, but that's just the way that it is. You know, you can't. You know, you may have heard the heard the little proverb of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And for 20 years we were over there, you know, we led the horse to water, and we've been trying to make him drink for past 20 years, and it just hasn't worked. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked. I mean, granted, there's good people over there. There's good people everywhere. But what can you do? They can go elsewhere. They can go to other countries. They can go to countries that are even our allies and get help, get protection over there. They can do that. But these are terrorists. You know, let's call it what it is. The Taliban is a terrorist organization. You know, why Biden decided he was going to put trust in the Taliban for, you know, to run the airport and actually make safe passage for Americans that are wanting to get on a plane and hop back home. Why we actually thought that they would honor any such of a deal, and why we actually thought that they would let these people leave. I've been hearing some things that I'm really not liking what's coming. We are possibly looking at something very bad going on. And I'll leave that up to your imagination as to what that could possibly be. But it's not looking good. You know, we have too many people over there. I've heard, you know, not in the hundreds, but in the thousands of people that are still left over in Afghanistan. For one reason or another. Can't get home, can't get back. That's what I'm hearing. That is absolutely what I'm hearing. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break. And when I return, get rid of all those stories. When I return, we are going to talk about, where did that go? We're going to talk a little bit about the COVIDs. We're going to talk about some of the mask mandates. We're going to talk about these other variations that are coming up. We're going to be talking about Israel and what's been going on over there and what they're going through and how this really should be a case study in, well, maybe we should be trusting the government on this. just maybe we shouldn't be. So just a couple minutes, guys, and I will be right back. Do you work at any of the myriad of jobs where you might have to sit on your bum all day? Have you ever had an ailment that a normal over-the-counter remedy just couldn't fight? If this is the case, then boy, have I got the solution for you. Tussin. That's right, Tussin. Cough? Tussin. Cold? Tussin. Runny nose? Tussin. Itchy watery eyes? Tussin. Broken leg? Tussin. Tussin is the ultimate cure-all, guaranteed to stop anything that ails you. Tussin. Available wherever OTCs are sold. All right, and we're back. So yeah, that was an oops on my part. You know, I started playing the wrong one, and then I didn't realize that both of them were played at the same time. I did not realize that one. So that's a new one on me. I'll call that one a learning experience. So guys, let's start off with this headline right here from Best Life. We're going to go ahead and slide right on into this segment and talk about the COVIDs. So this headline says, you're banned from traveling here as of Monday, even if you're vaccinated. And this headline came out on, you know, that's kind of weird because normally there's a date like right up here at the top. Oh, September 5th, 2021. Okay. So yesterday is when this article came out. And this says that if you're considering taking a big vacation anytime soon, your options may be limited, especially if you're planning to go anywhere in Europe. On August 30th, the European Council of the European Union, one of the governing bodies of the 27-member European Union, dropped the United States from its safe list. Yeah. I seen this article from The Atlantic. The masks were working all along. Oh, they were working. Did you guys know that? That the masks were working the entire time? Did you know? Did you know? So let's talk about these two right quick. Okay, one, it doesn't take a rocket science to kind of, you know, do a little deductive reasoning to find out that this article from The Atlantic, that the masks were working all along, is a load of hogwash. It's Bravo Sierra. We know this. All it takes is somebody who's willing to do a little bit of critical thinking. That's all it takes. In a level 4 bio lab, the getup that you wear. I mean, have you guys ever seen the movie Contagion? Have you guys ever seen the movie Outbreak? You know, the full body things that they wear. That's what they wear in labs such as that. That is a suit, full body freaking suit that will protect you from the virus. That's what they wear in places like that. If this thing was so deadly, you know, that party that Obama had, he wouldn't have had that thing unmasked. He wouldn't have. I mean, it doesn't take logic and common sense to come to these conclusions. It doesn't. I mean, this is common sense. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to get this. It really doesn't. Okay? They may help to an extent, but it's not going to keep you from getting sick. That's not what they're designed to do. Let me say that again. They're not designed to keep you from getting sick. And their effectiveness is extremely limited to keeping you from getting somebody else sick if you are sick. I mean, isn't it kind of weird for a lot of people out there that the only way they can actually tell that if they're sick is if they take a test that tells them they're sick? Isn't that kind of weird? You would think, you know, that wouldn't be the case. And to be honest with you, there's a really, really good case study out there to be found in Israel. Okay? Israel has the highest per capita of vaccinated people than any other country in the entire planet. Okay? They have more vaccinated people per capita than anybody. And they are still having issues. They're still having issues. And 86% of the people that have been hospitalized with the COVIDs in Israel are people that have been vaccinated. So why is it that there's so much hostility against people who refuse to vax? I heard something not that long ago that just amazed me. You know, there's actually a vaccine that you can get for chickenpox. It's like, why? I mean, granted, I'm sure that there has been people that have died from chickenpox. I'm not going to try to say that there hasn't been, but chickenpox is, again, you're going to survive. I had chickenpox when I was younger. I ended up giving it to my brother, and I couldn't have been happier. I was ticked off whenever I got chickenpox because, you know, I got it at the very beginning of Easter vacation. Or I'm sorry, they call it spring vacation now, but I got it at the very beginning of it. The entire week of Easter vacation, I was basically locked at the house. I couldn't go anywhere. I was quarantined because I had the chicken pox. Gave it to my brother. No. Let's rewind a little bit. All I had was spots on me. That was it. I itched a little bit. I had spots on me. I felt fine the entire time. I was not sick in the least. I don't know if it really ran my body down. I don't remember being tired. I don't remember having a fever. I don't remember any of it. I just remember that I got the chicken pox. I was perfectly fine. I lost my entire Easter vacation and I wasn't happy about it. But after my Easter vacation was done, it was amazing because I got my brother sick and he got hit hard to the point to where, you know, he couldn't even walk because it attacked his feet. He couldn't even really walk for like several days, actually. He got hit bad. And I know that makes it sound like I'm a bad person, but you know, me and my brother didn't get along back then. You know, we really didn't. So I was happy about that. I was like, hey, you got sick. You know, I was perfectly fine the entire time. Neil, not so much. Not so much. But why make a vaccine for something that you're going to live through? Why do that? Why waste your time, your effort in making a drug for an illness that you're not going to die from? And I am sure that if you actually look at this statistically, not by a case-by-case type of a study, but statistically, that the numbers of people that have actually died from chickenpox is extremely low. So why, whenever only, a very small portion of the population would actually even benefit from something like a chickenpox vaccine, why are you going to do that? And maybe, just maybe, they learned from that. They were like, oh, we didn't make any money off of this vaccine. I guess school kids are being forced to take it, but it's like, again, why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. But like I was saying before with Israel, 86% of the people that are being hospitalized for the COVIDs are people that have been vaccinated. This vaccine isn't even a vaccine. It is a therapeutic. Because if it was a vaccine, one, why do you have to take 2 shots to get it? Why do you have to take these booster shots every 6 to 8 months? Why, if it is truly a vaccine that is doing what vaccines are supposed to do, then why are you doing that? And why are 86% of the people that are being hospitalized for the COVIDs are people whom have been vaccinated? This new Mu variant that they're talking about. This sucker's been around since January. Why is it 9 months later after the fact are they going to start talking about it now? It's been around since January. They've even confirmed that. It's been around since January, but, this Mu variant, the vaccine's ineffective towards it. Wait a second. Why did you make a vaccine that was ineffective against a variant that has been around since January? I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. You would think that they would do that. You would think that would have been part of their study before they released the vaccine to be used for emergency purposes. You would think that. You would. You would think that. From the Complex, this headline, South Florida doctor says that she won't treat unvaccinated patients in person. Wait a second. Why not? I've said this from the get-go. One of the biggest problems that I have had whenever it came to this vaccine, or not vaccine, but this virus, has been how it's been dealt with, has ticked me off. Because any doctor that's going to tell you anything about being sick, the best thing that you can do is about early detection and early treatment. The only thing they were focusing their entire attention on and everything on was early detection. But then they wasn't following that up with anything. They wasn't following it up with treatment. It was stay home. If you beat it, you beat it. If you don't, you don't. If you get really, really bad, then come in. And then it's by the time people were coming into the hospital, it was too late to treat them. How much better would we be if they actually allowed practicing doctors to use things like ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamin D, zinc? If they actually treated people with things that we knew worked, with things that even Dr. Fauci himself has come out and said, this is great in dealing with SARS, which the COVID-19 is just a variant of that. He's saying the praises of hydroxychloroquine against SARS. So why is it now, all of a sudden, it's not good? And they have to spend billions of dollars to develop a vaccine that can be used, or that you can use very cheap, because hydroxychloroquine has been around for like 50 plus years. It's cheap. Oh yeah, that's right, because the pharmaceuticals don't make any money off of something that only costs a quarter. I mean, do you guys realize how many millionaires, billionaires has been made from these different, from these companies, from Pfizer, from Johnson & Johnson? How many people have gotten rich off of this? A lot. I'll tell you, a lot. And who's paying for that? That's right, the American people. You are paying for that. You just paid for that guy's yacht. I hope you feel better. Regardless of whether you took the vaccine or you didn't take the vaccine, because they denied the ability for doctors to actually treat this, it became a thing. If they never would have done that, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't be in this ship. We wouldn't be watching it sink. We wouldn't be trying our hardest to get the water out of the boat. We wouldn't be doing that if we actually allowed doctors to do what doctors are supposed to be doing. But instead, they've tied the hands of doctors. They're not even letting them treat people that are getting it in the onslaught of this, when in the very beginning of this. They haven't been allowing that to happen. I don't get it. I don't understand why. I really don't. And this article. No thanks. Close. Okay. I love pop-ups. I really do. This article from the Hartford something. The anger stage. Frustration mounts as anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers get loud while those following the rules watch gains against COVID-19 erode. Why are they eroding? We've already talked about this. Because the 86% of the people that are getting sick over in Israel have the vaccine. Why? Because this vaccine isn't actually preventing them from getting the COVID. It's making them more susceptible to getting it again. That's why you're watching the COVID-19 making a flare up again. It's because people are vaccinating, thinking that's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Now again, I mean, if you are immune deficient, I understand why you would want to get the virus. If you are over the age of 50, or I'm sorry, not get the virus, but get the vaccine. If you are over the age of 50, I totally understand why you would get the vaccine, why you would want to take the vaccine. But, you know, I mean, think about it. I want you guys to think about this. Since the entirety of this going on, how many people in Washington have been getting sick? I don't mean getting diagnosed with you know, or just being COVID-19 positive. I mean, how many of them have gotten sick? Really sick. How many of them has been hospitalized? Because I'm not really hearing about that. Not a lot of these people up in Washington have been getting sick. And even if they do, I mean, wasn't President Trump even COVID-19 positive at one point in time? But what did he do? You know, one, this man is a worker, and he did not stay down for very long. And he got treated with hydroxychloroquine. He got treated with vitamin zinc. He was back at vitamin zinc. He was back at it in no time. Like what, 3 days? He was back at it again after testing positive. So what's the deal? If he can do it, then why can't I? I know this was before vaccine, but even still, the argument stands. And we're seeing things play out that really should terrify us. Because you're watching the left make a huge stink over this anti-vaxxing and anti-masking. They're making a big stink against it. Why? Because they want to have control. I mean, you're going to see some stuff coming around that really should terrify you. I'm not liking the looks of everything. Look, I mean, if you want to take the vaccine, then take the vaccine. Do your homework first, though. Please. Do your homework. And I don't even like saying consult your doctor because, I mean, think about it. These doctors are getting a kickback from pushing the vaccine on the people. I mean, this is news that came out several weeks ago that these various companies, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they're giving kickbacks. They're lining the pockets of these politicians and whatnot to push the COVIDs, to push the vaccine, and they've made millions off of it. It's no secret. All on taxpayer dime. All on the taxpayer dime. Just do your homework. There are good doctors out there that are not going to lead you astray because they know the value in an actual physician that is held accountable to their customers. If they don't get better, if they actually end up getting sick and dying, then they're not going to be happy about that. Now they're losing their income. Why there hasn't been a push from the very beginning to actually treat people instead of just kind of ignoring it, that is beyond me. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't get it. Well, guys, that's all I got for you today. That's the show. Next week, being September 11th, we are going to be having a show. And I don't know exactly how this one's going to go. This is actually going to be my 5th September 11th show that I have done, or at least the 5th show that I've done around September 11th. Oh, that's all right, Dave. There's the replay on stuff. So, I mean, that's not a problem. It happens sometimes. Sometimes I do it. Oh, okay. I get it. It happens sometimes. But yes, guys, thank you much for being there and participating. And next week we will be having a show. And so that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for stopping by. You always have a great one. Good night. Sleep tight. And if the bed bugs bite, well, by golly, bite them back. This has been The Ho-Ho Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpickle.com. Until next time.